go hard like Santan.
Welcome to another New Spurs Order recording. I'll be your host this evening. I'm an aka X-Pac and 3-point collectors. Imagine our shock. Yao, how you feeling?
I'm still vexed. Like honestly, the whole winning in Hoffenheim, watching that game after about 20 minutes, I was like, yeah, we're gonna win this. Like, I'm sorry, but Hoffenheim are shocking. Like, they're really bad. And so yeah, I didn't expect us to lose, so we got away with it.
I honestly didn't know what to expect. We were just on such a momentum slide and slipping form at the moment. Obviously, you've got all the players out injured, not playing particularly well, and kind of just looks bereft of confidence going into this. You've already alluded to how you felt coming into it. You didn't expect us to lose. Did you expect him to field the lineup he did? Or would you have wanted to see kind of one or two more of like the younger players, a bit more rotation?
Like, honestly, I think what he fielded is what we had. Like, I don't think we had any more. Personally, I probably would have started the youngsters and rested Son and Kulu. But I don't know, man. Like, we're really on our last legs, like literally.
Oof, fair enough. It was like Ange was kind of doing his best Ian Beale impression going into the game. And yeah, didn't mean to voice break then. I certainly didn't want to. I ended up personally having egg on my face that I too wanted him to just start Mikey Moore instead of Son. Like, Son just looks absolutely fried. I didn't really know who we could play instead of Porro. Like, you got like the youngster Casanova.
Yeah, he doesn't even have it. Well, because of stupid planning, to be fair, but he doesn't actually have a choice. Porro has to play.
Yeah, it was literally just a case of, well, you didn't give Reguilon any minutes against Everton. I don't even think Reguilon even came off the bench, weirdly.
I don't remember him coming off the bench at all.
And it's like, okay, well, now we have to play Porro in Europe as well. But honestly, I feel like we started the game much better than I thought. Like, I thought, okay, we'll start some of the youngsters and then we'll bring on some of the big boys if we need to, just coming on late into the game, because I didn't want it to be a case of roles reversed, that, we're bringing on young players to kind of dig us out the mud again. Like, we're in the 60th minute, it's still a stalemate, and we need to rely on people like Lancashire, Moore, and Co. just to try and bail us out of a messy situation. But yeah, we started the game better than I thought. It looked like Ange trying to use a bit more common sense in his use of Maddison. I've been critical of his use of Maddison all season, but pushed it into a 4-4-2 of the ball, Maddison being part of that too. So he's further forward, and then in build-up, it was like a 2-3-5 with both fullbacks inverting. And for once, I really enjoyed Porro inverting in build-up, because it looks like that's where kind of the root of our progression was coming from, and our high line was just catching out Hoffenheim for fun in the first 15 minutes. And yeah, what did you kind of make from that first 20 minutes?
I think that first 20 minutes was largely in our favor. We seemed to like create a lot of chances quite easily. I do feel like defensively we were still a bit shaky in the first 20 minutes. Obviously, we would show our frailties even more later on in that half. But in that first 20 minutes, I felt quite comfortable because we cut them open a lot. Some better passing in the final third, and it could have been 3 or 4, to be honest with you. The goal for the play for Maddison's goal, I felt was really good. I like, runs, third man runs. I think that's a dying art in football, but at the same time, for me, it's like when I take on board we don't have many players that make that run. It's one player that used to make that run week in, week out when he was at the peak of his powers was Dele Alli. For some reason, players don't utilize that run nowadays. I don't know why, because so many teams play high line. So you can easily just, pop on over the top. We did the same thing against Liverpool. Same similar type of ball. We've done it twice and it led to a goal. So that first goal in the first 20 minutes looked promising for a team that was depleted. But I think the part that more shocked me was there seemed to be more tactical nous in that first 20 minutes that I hadn't seen in the 11 defeats we've received. This is 12 defeats that we've received this season, which is annoying.
Yeah, just as a FYI and as a disclaimer, I'm going to be fishing for Maddison prop throughout this pod, quite shamelessly. I don't think I've moved all of my stocks from Brennan Johnson. I've got them over to Maddison now. Looks like I've got in at the right time because his stocks nicely risen again, I think. But
no, I expect him to fail
don't
you
know.
against Leicester City. So let's wait and see.
Against Leicester. Okay, fair enough. In a means more game, that is. Woo. Okay.
It's a
Well,
6-pointer for us. We need it.
Oh, we are going life and death with that team, but we'll get into it. Yeah, obviously we went 2-0 up though. Maddison goal and assist, no biggie. That bit of play, and I'm not even being shameless with that, but when he's kind of snuffed out that loose ball in between Hoffenheim's midfield and defense, and he just ran onto it with a burst of pace, which I rarely ever actually see from Maddison, and then just that little quick turn which he can do super quickly, like he can get like 2-3 touches on it like in a split second, and then Son just releases himself for what was I thought would be just a normal kind of Son left foot finish. Got a lucky scuff, but look, you make your own luck. I thought Son was looking quite sharp throughout that first half, to be honest, albeit Hoffenheim were giving him acres of space, as I expected any kind of German team to do. And yeah, I feel like he earned a bit of luck in that game. He looked like he had a bit of a fire in his belly because it looked like the away fans at Everton were abusing him. I think they were abusing Ange, to be honest, but the camera was just pointed on Son. Either way, though, he looked like he was really up for it, as he always does seem to be against German teams.
Yeah, I think you need to remember he came from Stuttgart. Is that correct?
I can't remember who he was with. It was Hamburg and then Leverkusen.
Actually, not yeah. So, well, yeah. So, I think I got it mixed up because Stuttgart and Hamburg wear similar kits. But yes, he's definitely come from that league, and he's going to have like old school rivalries. I know he's been in the Premier League for like 10 years and so on and so forth, but those rivalries never die. So yeah, he definitely turns it up against German teams as his old stomping ground.
I remember there was I don't know if this is a fake quote, but I remember he when he scored against Germany for South Korea, and he was like, yeah, when I played in Germany, I experienced a lot of racism there. So I like to get revenge in something I love doing. To paraphrase what is a kind of real or fake quote, there was something there, and it's definitely a means more kind of game for him.
Yeah, definitely a means more game. But you know what's funny? That goal, Maddison did very well for the goal. Led up to it, like pretty well. But I think the part for me that was more, I was like, I'm not too sure about that. Is I think he got a bit lucky with the pass, if I'm being brutally honest.
He did a bit, yeah.
It looked like it was going through, but I'm not sure if I feel like he might have overcooked it. I could be wrong, but it did feel like it had a bit more pace on it, and the deflection kind of helped it more to slow it down for Son, if that makes any sense. Which worked in his favor. I mean, he's done everything right. It's not like he's not trying to aim for that player anyway. Sometimes you need that rub of the green. And, for all we know, the pass might have gone through without any sort of deflection and, had like no problems whatsoever. But, it was good to see him for once in recent time. Actually, that burst of pace was actually quite surprising, to be honest with you. I didn't think he was going to get there at all.
Yeah, showed a little bit of PMP. With that pass, it's yeah. I feel like without the deflection, it probably would have gone straight through to Son, and then it would have been like Son's first touch would have been him trying to finish it after being one v one with the keeper,
I
I
see what you
imagine.
mean. Yeah,
Um, Weirdly though, that touch the defender got on it, still managed to keep it in Son's stride. All he had to do, like in fairness as well, I feel like Son took it quite well because it was still a little bit behind him. But then his first touch almost like stopped the defender a little bit.
yeah.
So
I
it
feel like
is
his
something to
first
think
and
about.
second touch weren't what he wanted them to be. I feel like he
Mm.
started into like I feel like he took his first touch and it was like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. And then his second touch was like, oh no, again, that's not what I wanted. So his third touch became, I'm just gonna shift it onto my left and just go for goal. And lo and behold, I mean, yeah, fine. It took a massive deflection, but it's what he aimed for, such as life.
Honestly, as I say, you make your own luck at times. And yeah, I feel like Hoffenheim probably came into it for about like 5-10 minutes after that. But I feel like again with the help of Bentancur being back, we saw out the first half really, really well. Bentancur, this is why I think he can play the six as well. His ball retention is good. He was making quite lots of interceptions just outside our own box whenever Hoffenheim were looking to work something there. Um, I was just wincing every time he was heading the ball because yeah, he's just
Yeah.
come off
Concussion
a
protocol,
second
innit?
concussion of the season. Which is weird because if you're in mixed martial arts and you've got like two concussions or knockouts like received in that space or that time frame, you're probably getting like a 6 month suspension. So
Oh,
him
is it?
only being off for 2 weeks, yeah, it's a little bit scary, but um, that's the protocol. No, I'm not sure I necessarily agree with it, and that might be a question for Ohio in the group chat with what rugby protocols might be.
I think rugby
Um,
protocols would be far more stricter if you want my honest opinion. Like,
yeah, well, it
well,
would
I
be.
feel like rugby have got a lot of things correct in terms of like how they, obviously not trying to digress, but how they deal with athletes in terms of their injuries and other things. I think rugby have got it on the button.
Hmm. But yeah, just moving on to the second half. Before we do, obviously, there's just under 200 if you watch it. If you've got any questions or comments, please just place them in the feed here, and we'll see interact. The second half, though, what did you think or expect from that kind of going into it and seeing how it played out?
Well, the second half again, it comes down to game management, which we've struggled with since this manager has arrived. There's not that's just the fact. There's been games, there's been many moments in games and matches that people have argued about. Spurs fans have it's been split down the middle of the fan base. But the truth be told, like honestly, our game management is horrid, and that second half we knew very well that Hoffenheim were going to come out of the gates because they needed to.
Hmm.
Otherwise, it was going to mess up their potential qualifications and stuff like that. But it, it it was just annoying because essentially, as much as Hoffenheim did to try and get back into the game and all that kind of stuff, they were still giving us chances. So it became a case of like, okay, like we need to calm down here and just like manage the game. We don't even need to go and score like 6, 7, 8. Like just manage the game. We'll see it out. And it just infuriated me that they didn't do this, you know, as we would later on go see in the rest of the second half.
Yeah, it was weird, but it felt like we were just trying to attack with like two or three passes at a time, and that was it. And if it broke down with that, then um, we've obviously already lost the ball. Um, I was a little bit disappointed with Madison in that regard. Obviously, on the 56th minute, Richarlison came off, who I felt like was making some really good runs in the channels and pressing well.
He was
At
holding up
least,
the ball very well. Like as rubbish as he is, he was actually holding the ball up very well. But that guy, like, he had to come off at halftime because there was no way we were going to like. with the lack of injuries that we've got, no chance. Can't risk it.
Mm. Yeah, and then you've got Son playing up front instead, like risking him as well. So, um, it's crazy. But Mikey Moore um, showed a few good pieces of link up. I felt like him and Madison were looking for each other a fair bit, which shows the trust. We eventually put more than 2 or 3 passes together for Son to score. Obviously, we've conceded a pretty soft goal. Coming down the kind of right hand side, the ball comes in. Ben Davis loses his man in the box. We seem a bit more composed on the ball, and
Who do you think was at fault for that goal?
I
I know who I think it
as I
is.
like I know, like I feel like I know as well, because I always get frustrated when defenders are in the right position or in a like a decent to good position, but the ball still always goes through them. Um,
So this might
so
come as a surprise to you. I've got two people that I blame for this goal. Yeah, one of
I
them
feel like
is
Porro very slightly to blame, and then Ben Davis in the box.
no. I actually blame Son for the initial loss of play further up the pitch, and then I actually blame Dragusin, Davis, and Gray. Even though their positioning in the box is playing a lot of players on, especially Archie, Dragusin is by the time the cross comes in, Dragusin's behind Porro and the person that actually hits um the cross in. It's like, why not just be in line with them, or at least check to see what's behind you? He never checks over his right hand shoulder to see that there's players marauding into the box. And literally once that happens, that is because if Dragusin is in line, at least with Archie Gray, it's clearance.
That's him. Um, yeah, Austin getting a little bit of flack there as well. Bless him. He did look a little bit nervous all night. Like there was times where he was diving for things which were nowhere near him. Couldn't
That
blame him for being
the dive
nervous though.
in the first half. There's a dive that he did. The ball was super wide. I said, "No, this guy, he's not, he's not right in the head." And that's why he's only getting his debut now. Due to injury
Mm,
crisis, you don't dive like that on national TV. Are you all right?
yeah, bless him. Bless him. I feel like you can always measure the quality of a team's defense or an isolated defender if you get beaten by Son's only and signature skill move. The only thing he can do to get separation, that little step over he can do onto his left foot, just to be able to work a shot, um,
Yeah,
which he did
you're
nicely.
you're a dry team if you fall for that dub plate over and over again.
Yeah, it's mad. Mad. I think before I go on, Jay Spurs said, "Brother Yawanone, is it possible for the whole club to be at the top of the stairs?"
Most certainly, with Daniel Levy at the bottom of the stairs because we've already kicked him down. Fatio.
Yeah, good finish by Son though. Again, egg on my face because I really didn't think he should have started, but
He shouldn't have started. But again, what choice do we have? Like, honestly,
captain's
what?
performance.
I wouldn't go that far and say it kept his performance.
I mean,
Like,
it literally was.
nah, for me, like, people will be like, "Oh, you're being harsh," but I'm like, we gotta be brutally honest here. It's not only Spurs fans, but just fans of football. The team in the Premier League have been absolutely horrid. And granted, people will be like, "Yeah, but we haven't been so bad in Europe or the cup competitions." Well, yeah, we're winning games, I guess, if you want to consider it like that. But we haven't looked outstanding. Like legitimately, you couldn't name me a game this season after the City match where you're like, "Oh, we're out." And I don't want nobody to tell me about Southampton because they're absolutely trash. Yeah, but like after the Man City game, you couldn't tell me a match in which you thought, "Oh, Spurs were outstanding" or were unlucky here. And all. No, we've just been horrid. And I feel like in the game that we came across, yes, we were better. We were the better team. We deserved the win. If you want my honest opinion on 90 minutes of play, despite what
Hmm.
the stats read, we deserved the win. But I think that's not a performance to turn around and be like, oh, I don't care what the talk is in on social media and all that. That's not one of those performances where you turn around and the boys would be proud. They dug. Why could you dig deep for one of the 6 other defeats we've seen in the last 2 months? Like, I don't understand it. Oh, yeah, Papa Blankson actually makes a valid point with the first leg against Liverpool. That's one. So only 3 games, if you want to include the Southampton game, in 4 months is what us fans are supposed to be proud of. That you beat Hoffenheim, who have just as many like depleted players out as well. I'm like, no, sorry. What I will say is that it's nice to finally go into a weekend game knowing that we've picked up a victory, because the last time that happened was when we beat Liverpool, and I swear we beat Liverpool. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but it was at the beginning of January. Like, bruv, we're near the end of this 74-day month. It doesn't make sense.
Make it make sense. Yeah, I've just looked as well. I didn't realize Hoffenheim had quite that many injuries, literally the same amount as us. Looking at the stats, they had, what was it, like 23 shots or something? 14 of them were blocked. So
Yeah, they weren't clinical because they had a lot of shots in the box. They weren't clinical at all.
That's something I was rewatched the game today. It didn't feel like they had half of that many shots, but
no, they had a fair amount. But it was one of those performances where even the chances they had, from a defensive point of view, you were kind of like, well done, guys. You've done well. You've blocked that shot. You've kind of, do you get what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't one of those games where you're like, nah, our team is dead, blah blah blah. You kind of, said to yourself, nah, well done, guys. You kind of done your thing. Stop them from, scoring, I guess. But that second half wasn't nice at all. We allowed them to get into the game unnecessarily, if you want my honest opinion.
Yeah. To be honest, I did expect us to gas out though.
Yeah.
And I feel like once it got to like the last 10 minutes and Lancashire was coming on and running some channels, I felt like we had a nice degree of control. Like, we weren't attacking too quickly. We were just holding it up with Lancashire. Kulusevski had a fair bit of the ball, and
he needed to be subbed. Kulusevski needed to be subbed. That one was irritating.
Another 90 minutes for him, though. I mean, what else can we do?
And he's going to start on Sunday. 100% he's going to start.
He has to. Bless him. But we seem to have just switched off for them to score a second one. Looked really, really soft. Lack of cover on our right-hand side.
Surprise.
And someone who's twice the size of Porro ended up getting the jump on him. And
you see, again, this is what I don't blame Porro for their first goal. Yeah, but that second goal it's just another example of check your bloody mirrors. Like, honestly, how many times do we need to see? How many times as Spurs fans have we sat there, watched teams play down our left-hand side, and instead of flashing it across the box, they're like, nah, we're going to cut and we're going to chip it back post. And the reason why they're going to chip it back post is because they know that right back is either not there or he's not checking his mirrors whatsoever. And it happens time and time again. And people will turn around and say to me, yeah, but Porro offers us a lot more on the offensive side. No, he doesn't. Yeah, we need to get out of this mentality that he offered. He doesn't offer enough to like circumnavigate the deficiency he gives us on the defensive end. And this new age of football where you can look past a man's incapability to play the position that he's tasked with because he can do something to a decent level on the other end is ludicrous. I feel like with a more competent right back, even with Spence in the lineup, I feel like with Spence, we wouldn't have nowhere near the same amount of defeats that we have right now. At least we would have picked up 2 or 3 more draws, 100%. And going into the new season, if we don't look to get a right back or give Spence his, potential run in the team, we're going to just keep going backwards.
Yeah, can't disagree with much there. I just feel like with the cross coming in, there could have been like I almost feel sorry for Porro a little bit because again he wasn't in the worst position. He just got like
Dunked on.
outsized, out muscled, dunked on, no pressure on the cross whatsoever. And whenever you hold a high line with no pressure on the passer or crosser of a ball, then you're just asking for it every time. I could have only, if I'm critical, I feel like Austin could have read that a bit better and just come out and claim the cross before it got to a dangerous area. But yeah, probably shouldn't have been able to be floated in under such little pressure in the first place. But yeah, not long after that, we brought on Oluseyi for a bit of energy for Madison.
Boy,
I thought that was risky. It was
That wasn't
risky.
a good cameo, boy. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cameo was not good.
It was okay. It was okay.
Nah, man.
There was one time where he held the ball really, really well, fed it to Lancashire, who should have given him the return ball, and it just broke down. But it is what it is. 17-year-old just coming and making his debut in away European tie. It's nuts.
It's good. It's good. At least I feel like he in the final game were kind of I don't know if we're fortunate because of the team that we're facing, but in that final game we need to, obviously make sure we win. So I don't feel like we can actually risk playing all our youngsters. That league table is very, very close.
Yeah, it's a bit too close for comfort, and you would think any other manager would have definitely got it in the neck right now. Would have been sacked by now, or we would have just sworn in Mason by now. This kind of feels different now. I'm not necessarily like opposed to Ange leaving or being sacked, but I'm not opposed to him staying either. I'm just a bit on the fence with it because lack of candidates and same issues will still exist, right? But with every other manager, we've seen players down tools on Pochettino, Jose, Conte, Stellini, Mason. But I don't get the impression, for whatever reason, it's almost a pleasant surprise, even though it's a largely different group of players now. They've just knocked down tools and the manager. It feels like the narrative from the fans and the players is more just geared towards Levy and co backing the team and the manager, with the players firmly behind Ange still. Are you getting the same impression?
I find it a bit weird, if you want my honest opinion, because I'm like, if the players are backing him and are 100% bought in and, they supporting the manager and all that jazz, like, are they trying to, I don't know, are they trying to like basically inadvertently tell us that, yeah, we're trying hard, all of these injuries are really impacting us? Because I'm like, what? Like, people need to understand we've lost to some shocking teams, like, and we've lost in a manner that is utterly disgraceful. Some of our defeats are utterly disgraceful, and I just can't, like, I can't get over it. Some of the defeats that we've taken, they're just unbelievably poor. So if they are supporting the manager, my whole thing would be like, okay, cool. Well, then surely you would try and improve your performances. Like, and I'm not hearing tiredness as an excuse. I'm sorry, I'm just not. I'm not hearing it. Like, yes, you can be tired in a game, but that doesn't stop you from like managing a game responsibly. And they haven't. They haven't managed the game responsibly for a very long time. Even against Liverpool, which was a far better performance, we didn't manage that game well. Against Man City, it's only because we'd gone 4-0 up that it was easier to manage the game. Like against Southampton. Southampton had some good moments against us. Like we absolutely smashed them and we didn't manage that game well. So I don't understand how these players can be like, we're all in support unless they sympathize with the manager. That's the only way I can see why they haven't turned on him. That they sympathize with the position he's in, with the resources he has, and therefore all these like poor performances that we've experienced as fans, they, because of their sympathy, they're still in support of the manager. They want him to succeed because him succeeding will have them succeeding in no other better way of putting it. Well, then if that's the case, put pressure on the bloody club. Because, at the beginning of the year, it was, yeah, Spurs are looking to, at least try and get free players. They're definitely going to look for a forward. All we got is a goalkeeper. And today, the links come out that we looked at Brian Brobby. The name is so garbage. Yeah. Utter rubbish.
Ghanaian, isn't it?
He's an overweight Ghanaian. 100%. That boy eats fufu for breakfast. It don't make no damn sense. The boy is too heavy. What's he gonna do? Every shot he's going to take is going to lick off houses around North London. Just clean off roofs. That boy is not hitting the top of the net. He's hitting the top of the stadium. I don't want him. Listen, I know people say, oh yeah, you're a bit harsh on some of these players. He's trash.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just agent talk though, to be honest.
I hope so.
Just trying to get a move.
I hope so. Oh no, Papa Blackson, that's an insult. It's a very listen. I need people to come on here and actually tell Papa Blackson what I'm really about. I'm 10 goals in 10 games, bruv. Talk to me nice. I don't play like that.
Yeah, he's playing the Uber Eats league though.
Don't worry about my league.
No. The touchline league. It's interesting one.
Yeah. So it's a something else league, boy. That one's the league. Something else.
10 in 10 though. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a club trained striker who's doing better than Bobby in that league as well. So it is what it is.
I just think the link, whether it's a smoke screen or not, is just stupid. Like we shouldn't be linked to players of that ilk. Players of that ilk should be linked to teams like Southampton right now. That's what they need. Just jabs.
Bit of Leicester. Hopefully not in time for Dr. Tottenham to visit them though. Anyway, you said something about the players probably sympathising with Ange's position. If they're taking that stance, are they not being self-deprecated towards themselves? Be like, we're shit, so we sympathise with the manager. Or, he injured us, so we're going to sympathise with him.
I don't think they're sympathising on the basis of what rubbish we're sympathising. I feel like they're more sympathising on the fact that he doesn't have a fully fit squad. The squad is bare, it's thin, and it's not big enough to compete with in Europe and in other competitions. It's just not. So I feel that's where the sympathy comes from. Outside of that, I'm like, bruv, they really. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's twofold. I feel like they've not only let themselves down, they've also kind of let the manager down. I don't rate Ange, if I'm being brutally honest. Like I feel like he's shown his hand. It's taken a while, but he's shown his hand, and it's absolutely disgraceful how he's had us set up in a lot of games over the past 2 seasons. But these players there's a lot of shame there. There's a lot of stuff that I feel they've done horridly wrong. And for me, the more scary thing is the incapability of game managing. Like I said this once, I think on a previous pod, when we went 2-0 up against Brighton, a lot of fans were like, "Oh, it's Ange's fault. Should have made changes." And I'm like, well, yeah, even if he did make changes, there is nothing you can do for the nonsense we saw in that game. The absolutely nothing you can do for that. Like, yes, you can make those changes, but if you make those changes and the same thing happens, you're still gonna blame the manager. So some like there's games where the 100% is the manager's fault, and there's games where you have to look at the players and be like, seriously, like how much coaching do you actually need? Like, do we have to hold your hands for everything? And that's where my problem is with the players right now. So you know what? If honestly, I don't feel like they've given up on the manager, but I'm surprised that of all managers that have come into Tottenham's uh, club, like I'm surprised that this is the manager that they've all decided to back all of a sudden.
Yeah, I think it's just been a recurring case. I think the narrative with the fans has fed into the players with the whole just like Levy being the root cause thing. Obviously, pundits have been reiterating it as well, just saying like there's one common denominator, and it's not these win-only managers who have come and gone. It's the club and the board and probably Levy. There's obviously a lot more context to that, but I feel like that narrative must have fed into the players.
Well, remember we're in a social media era. Like let's not be fooled. These players definitely know what the fans
Oh,
think
they
of
are
them.
so online as well. Our players,
They
they are
know
so online.
exactly what the fans think of them. That's why Son will never talk to me ever again, because I've told the world that his own father doesn't rate him. Yeah, so Son is not gonna waste time trying to shake my hand, and it's cool. I ain't trying to be Son's brethren. Madison knows that he's letting us down, and like we don't know why he's letting us down. You
He
know,
hasn't let
nobody
us
told him
down.
he's letting us down.
He's not letting us down.
He's definitely letting us down.
Uncle
I
Yaya
don't know
doesn't
why.
think he's letting us down.
He's letting us down 100%. We bought Madison for 40 million, and people thought, yeah, a real baller, real drug dealer out here. And after 10 games, we're like, yo, what's happened here? Like, what's going on? So much so that it's trickled into this season. This season, that early on in the group, man, were trying to tell us that Madison was 10 out of 10.
Oh, I
We're
knew
like,
you were gonna say that as well. Why
and
did
we're
I
like,
not
no,
believe
Kulu's
you?
easily been the best player in our midfield, and that's not even an insult. Like to say, oh, it's Kulu that's been our best player. He's actually, yeah, he's looked poor in the last month and a bit, but the truth be told, Madison has been nasty. And then people be like, yeah, but it's the manager, he's not using him right, and I'm like, yeah, fine, all right, you can make that argument, but then why is man looking booky in games that we're controlling? Nah, man, I don't like it. Like the game yesterday, perfect example. He was good in the first half. Probably one of the best players on the pitch in the first half. Second half, ew, ew. What does that Gloria girl say? It was nasty. For 45, that's all I have to do. Every time he got on the ball, it's like, bro, Madison, so, just
He's
nasty.
still been good in most of the games he's played this season,
That's
whether
a
it be
both.
cameoed or started.
That's a both
In
face, man.
most of the games.
That's a
It's
but
not a lie at all.
we played over
Not to say
25
he's been
games
10
this
out of
season.
10.
We've played over 25 games this season. Oh, and
Yeah,
there's
he
no
hasn't.
way you're telling me he has been good in 50% of them. No way.
Okay, no, because I'm telling you he's been good in over 50% of them.
Yeah, you see? Ugh.
No,
Don't
come
do
on.
that.
What he's done in both Manchester ties away last
It's the
night.
only time he performs.
Hmm?
It's the only time he performs. He loves Manchester.
Fair enough. It's almost a good segue though with the whole Madison thing and our players being online. There was that picture that went out um, on social media yesterday with the players celebrating through the adversity. There's like a picture in the changing room. Kulusevski's on the physio table, hopefully just getting like a massage or something. He's not injured.
He's
Um,
injected.
few of the players, including Madison, yeah, Uncle Yaya came out and said he was proud of the younger players, Mikey
Yeah,
Moore
the
and
young players coming.
Kulusevski. And I personally, I was really proud of the players last night. Like I know Hoffenheim are shit. They are shit. But again, it's just like any away performance in Europe. which results in a win, should be commended, in my opinion. And the way we took the initiative in that game should be kind of recognized, I think. And then the way we managed to just see it out was good. It was good. I was actually proud of the team. But then Madison posted that picture afterwards, and there's quite a lot of backlash about it. Like, okay, well, we saw your performance, we saw the performance. No need to do this. But I was just like, I didn't personally have a problem with it. We've celebrated a pretty big win amongst what is genuine, valid adversity. But what did you make of that whole kind of discourse?
I sit with Roy King. Just do your job. Just do your job.
This is what he did.
No,
Proper
no,
vice
no, no,
captain.
no. He wasn't doing his job. All of this, like, I don't. You see, all of that photo celebrating. Save that when there's something to really celebrate. I've got no time for none of this. I was proud of the team, brother. We've had 12 defeats in the league. Like I've like honestly, like, when Touchline was flipping playing in their first league and they were bottom of the league, and we won our first game. If man had posted, other people would have been on WhatsApp laughing at us. Like, nah, I'm sorry. Like for the nonsense that the players, the manager, the club have given us fans in the last 2-3 months. I'm not trying to see that. And if you're doing it now, as far as I'm concerned, you should have done it after the flipping Southampton game or even the Liverpool game at the very least. Like, you didn't. You're doing it after Hoffenheim. Brother, I've got no time for it. Just go home, rest, come back, beat Leicester. That's all I care for. Right now, don't post nothing on social media. Don't tell me about how your day's going. I don't care. Don't tell me, you feel healthy. I don't care. Just get the victory done, and then we can discuss things at the end of the season. Because all of this photo, yeah, proud of the boys, coming through adversity, I've got no time for it. I'm not of that ilk. Honestly, don't come and tell me that you've gone through 6 months of nonsense that you've put yourself through, and then you're going to come tell me, oh, yeah, I got a win today. I'm proud of myself. Shut up. Just flipping go and do your job, bro. Honestly, it's pissing me off. I've got no time for it. And I've got no time for, like, people trying to be, like, understanding and simple. I've got no time for none of it. Absolutely none of it. Yeah. Most of our fans nowadays, a lot of them, or a lot of the newer school fans, came during the last 15 years. So all they saw was, Poch, the Harry Redknapp days, and so on. So even people that are like around our age, their genuine memory of like Spurs will be like late 2000s. So they might remember the Carabao Cup and all that kind of stuff. These men don't genuinely remember what happened the last time we won the Carabao Cup. Like, I really remember that time period. We won it and finished 12th. I think it was 11th in the final position. But we were hot, just getting slapped week in, week out after winning the cup, the first cup of the league season. We just kept getting clapped left, right, and center. And if you go check the team that we had, the actual team we had, yeah, you'd be like, rah, how did this team finish there? Yeah, I'm not here for none of it. Absolutely, I don't care for timing of none of it. Honestly, we are in January. We're not even in February yet. We're still in January. We've got one more game before the end of this month. And we're on 12 defeats. We've lost more than half the games we've played in the league. And you want me to press like because you beat Hoffenheim? Piss off.
Circumstantial. I'm still proud of it. Good little interview afterwards. Spoke eloquently well and spoke how I would imagine like a captain figure would.
He ain't a captain of mine. He can piss off.
He's the captain of the team you support, so he is your captain.
He's a vice captain, so he's not the true captain. The true captain is Son. But we know Son is not a captain.
He's the vice captain for the captain.
That's
a little US office reference.
He's a vice captain.
Vice captain to the captain. I'm quite proud of that one. Well, we've got a means ball game for Madison as well. So coming up, so he can't be posting that and then losing to Leicester, his old club, his own stomping ground. Although he did win a trophy with them. Matt, so I already know circumstantially we've had a midweek game, we've got a lot of injuries. We are going to go life and death to get anything from this game, even though we're home against this team who are not even that much better than Southampton. It sounds like everything's kind of imploding over there. Like Ruud van Nistelrooy is falling out with players, and
Yeah, I
wants
don't
to
understand
leave
what's
as
happened
well.
over there. Like, how did it go wrong so badly?
I could not. I don't know why they hired Ruud van Nistelrooy. To be honest, I
Yeah, that
never
was
saw
weird.
him as like what.
That
What are we
wasn't the
doing
right one.
here? They had a decent coaching Cooper. Didn't play sexy football, but
Yeah, I feel like teams like that. Well, this is gonna sound absolutely ridiculous coming from me, but teams like that, I feel like they don't know their identity. Hilarious. So they feel like, okay, we're back in the Premier League. We should be staying there. I'm like, nah, man, you've been a yo-yo club for a very long time. Like they were, in my eyes, probably better off, as you said, sticking with Cooper. Like I don't understand. I really don't understand why they've done what they've done. It's weird.
yeah, I do sympathise with Leicester a little bit with their whole kind of previous ownership. So that whole helicopter thing happened, and
Yeah,
yeah,
I feel
um,
like they probably set the club back um, a lot. Like I don't feel like we as fans probably realize how bad that set them back.
mm,
But yeah, I don't know what's going. Like all I care for right now is that we we get our job done because it's
mm.
not good.
Is there anything you particularly want to see in terms of the lineup and anything like that from Ange? Any tweaks?
That's a good question. Um,
I think Richarlison's going to bag, and I think we're going to scrape a 2-1 win, but it's hard.
Charlton's definitely starting. I feel like Johnson's injured, thank God. I have the feeling. I know what I would like to see, but it's not going to happen. I've got a strong feeling that he's going to go with the exact same team that just he put out against Hoffenheim.
Oh, okay, fair. Yeah, no, I imagine you'll be right.
I hope I'm
Um,
not.
well, we've got Romero and Van der Ven coming back soon. Romero's only just come back to like light training, I think. So he won't be back for Leicester. Kinski will probably be the only change for Austin, I imagine. And yeah, maybe Regulon will play and then Archie Gray will go back to centre back for. I don't know. I think Dragusin might end up getting benched. People have been slating him so much recently,
No,
and
but he's been horrid.
yeah, he has been the past few
Like,
weeks. He's been
like
playing injured though.
but every match he's getting hurt. Like,
Hmm.
sort out. Like, honestly, sort out. Like, he has been utterly horrid. Seriously, it's like such a bad, like state of affair. Like, I can't believe how bad he's been.
Yeah, not gonna lie.
We were fighting teams for my man. It's been nasty. Trying to beat teams to get the sign. And I think what I find more hilarious about his current circumstance is he's what do you call it? His agent has gone utterly silent. Hasn't said
I,
a
I keep
word.
on forgetting about that piece of shit
This
agent.
man was talking crazy, like leading. He was just talking, just hella talking.
Mate.
And now, because of what he's seen his client do, he's been pim, like utterly silent. I can't believe it.
He's like that meme now of that Simpsons character standing in the car park with just like the shade over them. with the smoking of the cigarette. That's all Radio
Yeah,
Dragason's agent is doing now
yeah. I agree. That is absolutely shocking.
during
Honestly,
a
like
transfer window as well, no less.
he was talk. I can't believe how much he was talking. That's the part that makes me laugh so much. He was talking heavy. I was like, yeah, all right, yeah, fine. Dash this guy in. And it's just been I honestly can't believe how bad it's been. Like we're in the group chat laughing, saying this guy is like he's pretty much up there with the Gilbertos of this world right now, boy. It's looking nasty for my man.
Yeah, I feel like that's a bit of a harsh comparison, but
Such is life.
fair enough. The game is the game. What is your score prediction for Leicester?
I haven't predicted a score all season. So all I'm going to say is I hope and pray we win.
Hmm. It's going to be an interesting means more game for a lot of people. You got Skip and Winks the other side. You got Son playing with his ex stripe partner, who's now managing Leicester. So he's not playing with him, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Madison playing against his old team. Man, it's going to be good. All right. Thank you to everyone that's been watching along on the stream, by the way. There's well over 300 of you. J Spurs, Papa Blankson in particular, Dalen off YouTube. Like, it's been great. It's been a nice little pod. I'm going to be riding the wave of this win for as long as I can personally. Yeah, we'll take his Roy Keane stance as per. Like, he's back to being the bad guy.
I
It's a good.
definitely am.
You can't really expect anything less when you're 15th in the league, though, can you? But anyway, please do look out for some more of these streams. We put the tweet out an hour to a few hours in advance on either a Thursday or Friday, predominantly Fridays now. So we can digest the Thursday games with the audio coming out on the Saturday. Look out for our posts on X and TikTok, which are still very regular. And for now, let's just ride the wave. Come on, you Spurs.
Peace.
Peace.